Hello and welcome to our review of the Go City New York Explorer Pass. We hear talk of these attraction passes coming up all the time in travel forums and Facebook groups, and there is often a lot of confusion around the products on whether or not they are worth purchasing for your trip. So on our latest trip to New York, where money saving was an absolute priority, we knew a pass was the only way we were going to be able to hit our ridiculous £1,000 per person budget. So we took this opportunity to take a detailed look at these passes so you can decide if they are a good fit for your trip. Attraction passes are all pretty similar in concept but can differ in execution. They are basically a suite of attractions that you can visit for one set fee by purchasing the pass. You don't need to pay for multiple New York attractions individually, you just buy the pass and get access to a host of top-notch tourist hotspots. This is quite attractive simply from a budgeting and organisational perspective, but these passes also advertise some quite substantial money savings. The different passes all work slightly differently, with the Go City New York Explorer Pass allowing you to pick a number of attractions from 2 through to 10 attractions, and then once in the city you can visit whichever attractions you wish from a list of over 110 different attractions. The Explorer Pass gives you 30 days to visit the number of attractions you chose, so there is less need to cram things in compared to the day-style passes. The headline savings can be up to 50% over paying for the attractions individually. That's up to half price. So is it too good to be true? Well, that's exactly what we aim to find out when we hit the city to see exactly how the pass works out for us, as there is often a lot of disagreement in various travel forums and such over the real value of these passes. The Go City Explorer Pass goes up in price depending on how many attractions you purchase, with a 2 attraction pass costing $89, up to a 10 attraction pass which costs $299. But an important thing to note is the cost per attraction drops as you increase the number of attractions on the pass, meaning the pass is much better value the more attractions you add. With the included attractions ranging anywhere from $5 right up to $94, it can be a challenge to make sure the attraction price is higher than the cost per attraction price. This is not helped by the math getting a bit funky here, as sometimes adding an extra attraction on, even if that attraction is lower than the cost per attraction, can bring up the overall value of the pass, as the cost per attraction is spread over all the attractions. As we said, it's a little complicated, so to keep it simple, just make sure you add up the overall cost of the attractions you want to visit and compare that to the purchase price of the pass. If the pass price is less, it's going to be good value. But with the Explorer Pass, you do need to be visiting at least some of the higher end attractions to get good value from the pass, and the 2, 3 and 4 attraction passes are not that great value, and it's often better to buy any of the very low value attractions separately. Finally, we almost always have discount codes for this pass available, so head on down to the description and we can provide a link to our discount codes, saving you even more money. Of course, the main rival to an attraction pass is simply paying for the things as you go. The downside to this is it will usually cost you a lot more. We'll look at this later, but there are also other passes out there you might want to consider. This is the other version of the Explorer Pass and has the same attractions but just a slightly different method of delivering them. This is what is known as a day pass, meaning instead of choosing the number of attractions, you choose the number of days it's valid for, then visit as many of the attractions on the list as you can cram into that time period. This has the advantage of allowing you to save even more than the Explorer Pass, as there is no limit on how much you can save, other than the hours in the day, but it can make for a very busy trip as you try and cram in as much as possible into your visit. We like the Explorer Pass as it allows you time to do other things without sacrificing precious pass time. The New York Pass is also from the Go City stable and is basically exactly the same as the Go City All-Inclusive Pass. It used to be a rival to Go City, but then Go City bought them out but kept the branding running alongside. But essentially there is very little difference between the New York Pass and the Go City All-Inclusive Pass. This is the official pass for New York and can offer some staggering value. It's the cheapest of the passes and can save a lot of money. The downside is the roster of attractions is somewhat limited. If these attractions happen to be exactly the ones you want to visit, then great, this is a brilliant pass. But the Go City attraction passes just offer a little more variety and some more fun attractions than the fairly stuffy offering of the CityPASS. The final option is the Sightseeing Pass. These used to be a really good option, but they had issues during COVID and people were visiting attractions only to find them no longer valid on the attraction. We hope they have sorted this out since, but have not got around to fully re-evaluating these options just yet, so we are afraid it's buyer beware from us. Some people love to say they just want to go with the flow and not plan anything, and they see these passes as a way of infringing on that. And while we can debate the lack of merits of that till we are blue in the face, what is more relevant is the pass really doesn't stop you from doing that, as a lot of the attractions included are just walk up, where you just arrive, scan the pass, and you're in. And the ones that do require you to pre-book would require you to book anyway. We actually find the pass makes you more flexible than just booking or paying for everything separately, as you do not have to choose the attractions on the pass beforehand. You are then absolutely free to just go with the flow, and also alter and change your plans based on the weather, fatigue, circumstance, or just the mood of your group. Another major criticism we hear is that the pass just doesn't work out good value for their trip. This can absolutely be the case, but we find for even very modest itineraries, the pass can still work out great value. We think some people are just not doing the calculations correctly. Take this very light itinerary, where we have intentionally selected only the cheapest attractions. This still works out as a small saving. Yes, it's not groundbreaking, but $12 is surely better in your pocket than theirs. And just adding 1 or 2 extra attractions, or choosing some of the more costly options, will skyrocket the value. We find only on the absolute lightest itineraries does the pass not work out as really good value. The final issue that people have is what we call chasing the pass. This is where people just overplan and try to cram too much into a day. This is far less of an issue with the Explorer Pass, as you have the entire length of your trip to use the attractions, assuming your trip is less than 30 days. But people can still overplan, but this is less of an issue with the Explorer Pass and not unique to using a pass. You can still overplan things while on the hop, but with a pass you have already committed the expenditure, so you need to be pretty prudent in your planning. With over 110 attractions, there really is a lot to choose from, and most of the attractions are really popular New York sightseeing hotspots. We obviously can't list them all, but here is a quick rundown of our favourites. Some of New York's most iconic attractions are on there, including the Statue of Liberty cruise, which is the only way to get to Liberty Island and see the statue up close. The 9/11 Museum is on there, along with the iconic Empire State Building. Speaking of which, observation decks are some of New York's most visited attractions, with people loving getting up high and taking in the breathtaking views from some of New York's tallest buildings. There are several decks now open to the public, and 4 are included on this pass: the Empire State Building, the Top of the Rock, the Edge, and the Freedom Tower. All have their pros and cons and reasons for visiting. We have a detailed guide on this, which you can find by clicking the link above. We don't recommend visiting them all, but at least 2 is a good shout, as you can then see New York during the day and at night, which both offer very different impressions of the New York skyscape. Another very popular part of visiting the city is its world-class museum lineup, and the pass gets you into many of the best. The Museum of Natural History with its stunning displays of the natural world, the Museum of Modern Art, which houses some of the finest masterpieces in the world from some of the most coveted artists, think Van Gogh, Picasso, Monet, etc. The Intrepid Museum is a fantastic place for anyone with an interest in military history or aviation, as you board an actual aircraft carrier. There's also the Guggenheim Museum, the Museum of Sex, and many other smaller, more niche museums. There are a lot of walking tours included, where a guide will take you around many of the city's most popular locations, such as Central Park, Dumbo, Harlem, and Greenwich. Of course, you don't need a guide for this, and you can just visit on your own, but the guide really does help point out some of the most interesting features of these areas. There are also several motor tours, such as the Movie and TV Sites tour, which we did on our trip, and we have more details of that coming up soon. There are several iconic location tours, like the Madison Square Gardens tour, the Radio City tour, Carnegie Hall tour, and St. Patrick's Cathedral tour. You can even visit the catacombs buried under the city by candlelight. And don't forget the epic ride. Part tour, part street show, we love this quirky attraction, and it's fantastic value when added to the pass. Some might call these tourist traps, but they are always popular and many visitors want to visit them. These include Madame Tussauds, the Rise New York Flying Sim, and various virtual reality and escape room attractions. Finally, we love getting out on the water, and there are a host of river and harbour cruises included on the pass that will get you out of the city and onto the island's waterways, with absolutely stunning views of the skyline. As you can see, a lot is on offer, but there are some noticeable absences. The Met used to be on the pass, but that has vanished in recent years, which is a big shame, as we adore this iconic museum. The Summit, our least favourite observation deck, is also missing, but while we are not fans of the gimmicky nature of this deck, many people love it, and it is the popularity of the deck that keeps it from joining the pass programmes. Also, there is no real way of upgrading your Statue of Liberty cruise to include the crown or pedestal. If this is important to you, we recommend just booking that separately. You can request the upgrade on the day, but these are sold out 99.9% of the time. While a lot of attractions are walk-up, some do require pre-booking. so check the details on each attraction page. Almost all the attractions that need to be pre-booked are things that you would need to pre-book anyway, and most can be done the day before or just a few hours in advance. When the city is really busy, accessing really popular attractions can be challenging. If you are going to be there at peak times such as Thanksgiving, the holidays, or other crunch periods, make sure you book anything you can well in advance, and anything that is walk up, get there extra early. The 9/11 Museum is a particular issue as you can't pre-book and they only have a certain amount of pass holder tickets for each day. We advise getting there approximately 1 hour before it opens to ensure you get a ticket for that day. It is getting to the point where we have visited just about every attraction available on this pass, so if you have any specific questions about visiting any particular attraction, just drop us a comment down below and we will get back to you on how best to approach that attraction. On our recent budgeting trip to New York, we bought a pass with our own money to see just how much we could save when visiting the city, and to find any issues or problems with the pass in practice. We were trying to visit New York City for only £1,000 per person all in, so really needed the pass to work out for us. We were in the city for 5 nights and bought a 6 attraction pass as this was all the budget allowed. On day 1, we didn't do any pass attractions as there had been some pretty heavy snowfall, so we just enjoyed the wintry conditions, showing how you really can be fluid and free with your planning and just go where the mood takes you. On day 2, we took it a bit more seriously. The Top of the Rock is one of our favourite attractions in the city. It's all about the view, and the view from the top of the rock is unsurpassed by any of the other decks in the city. It's an outdoor deck and fully open, with 360-degree views of the city, and its location puts it right in the heart of everything. You can now pre-book the deck, which is an improvement as it used to be hard to access as you had to visit the ticket office, get tickets for the next available, which could be the next day, and then come back at that time. But now you can pre-book via the app. We booked the night before and there was excellent availability, but it's always worth monitoring it a few days before your trip to see how far out you need to book. Other than that, we just turned up at around the correct time and got straight to the top, taking in the stunning views. The next attraction we chose was seasonal. There are a few seasonal attractions included on the pass, and to be honest, it's nice to see they alter the roster to keep up with what's going on in the city. Ice skating is only available at the Rockefeller in the winter months, and it is not always included in the peak season before Christmas as it's so busy. We arrived at the rink, scanned the pass and were issued skates, and it was straight out onto the ice for an iconic New York experience. However, we were fairly relieved to get off the ice with all our bones intact. We are not the best skaters, so in the end it was just the 2 attractions this day as we spent the rest of the day doing other things such as shopping, again showing you don't have to be a slave to the pass. Day 3 we spent most of the day chasing cut price theatre tickets, so didn't have time for the pass, but we did head up to the Empire State Building in the evening to sample this iconic attraction and see the city at night when it's all dressed up in its stunning evening gear. If you really need a reason to visit 2 decks, a day and a night view is the only reason you need. Day 4 was largely devoted to using the pass, with 2 big attractions that both take quite a lot of time. The first was a New York movie and TV locations tour with on-location tours. We really like this tour and it takes you to some really iconic locations. You obviously have to book this tour in advance, but can only book it 24 hours in advance for free. If it's really busy in the city and this tour is important to you, consider paying the additional booking fee to make sure you get your place on the tour. As it was pretty quiet on our visit, we just waited and got our place on the tour no issue. In fact, there was plenty of additional space and our tour group was really pretty small. It's a great tour and really insightful even if we have visited most of these attractions before. We love getting out on the river and the Circle Line cruises are an amazing way to do this. We like the Landmarks cruise as you get all the best parts of the city for the least amount of time on the boat. The Circle cruise is longer and more expensive, but large parts of the cruise are around the less interesting parts of New York City, as it does a full loop of the island. With the Landmarks you get the best sights, some of which you pass twice, and a really nice close-up view of the statue. Getting on board can be tricky at busy times. You can't pre-book, so you need to head over and book onto the next available. For us, this was the next cruise, and in fact every time we have visited this has been the case, but if the city is packed out, you may need to visit the ticket office up to 2 hours before your desired cruise to bag a spot. But there is lots to see and do in the area while you are waiting for your boarding to start. It's all worth it though, as these cruises are really beautiful. Just remember, in winter it's seriously cold out on the river. On our last day, and we still had 1 attraction left. Luckily, we had a late flight out, so this was no issue, and we headed bright and early to the Natural History Museum. You don't need to pre-book here, just turn up and enjoy the amazing and iconic museum, packed with stunning exhibits and natural wonders, from colossal dinosaur skeletons to the majestic halls of African mammals. We only spent a few hours in the museum and only really got the highlights package, but it was still amazing. For our trip, we paid $170 each for our 2 6-attraction passes, and we saved a whopping $141 each over paying individually for the attractions, which is $282 in total, as there was 2 of us. That's a lot of money to keep in our pockets, and really does fly in the face of those who claim passes are not good value. This was a super budget trip, and having the pass was the only way we were able to do some of the things we did, whereas without the pass we simply would have missed out. We use these sorts of passes all the time, across multiple cities around the world, and in just about every case we find the pass allows us to access the holy grail of travel, the ability to see more and pay less. Whenever we visit a new city, the first thing we look for is whether there is a pass available. We have never not saved money, but moreover, they just open the city up and really let us get the best out of our trips. New York is a unique city, and visiting it has some unique challenges, but the Go City Explorer Pass really helps you see the sights and attractions you would just not have done without it. The fact it's attraction based rather than a day pass really helps with the cramming issues, and allows you to have a more relaxed pace to visit the attractions. New York is pretty hectic, so you don't need to add more pressure onto yourselves if you can avoid it. We have provided a couple of example itineraries, but both of these are pretty basic and light. It's perfectly possible to save a whole lot more than we did, but that should never be your aim. Work out what it is you want to see and then just add up the cost. If this then leads to a saving, we heartily recommend the pass, as we had no issues whatsoever using the pass on this trip and have used one pass or another on multiple occasions every time we visit the city, always to great success. And being 100% honest, we will use one on our next trip too, even though we have visited the city on multiple occasions. So try out the Go City New York Explorer Pass and you will almost certainly have an amazing visit to the city. If you like this kind of content, please remember to like the video and subscribe to the channel, and check out the description for that link to save you even more money on the pass. We have a heap of exciting content in the pipeline, including our next epic road trip, where we check out another Go City attraction pass as we visit Sin City, and then head out into the desert for an epic Wild West road trip. Subscribe to know when that drops, along with more upcoming New York content and some more leftover from Hawaii, and some brand new Disneyland content as we head over for the 70th anniversary celebrations. It's going to be a busy summer, so make sure you subscribe to follow along with everything we get up to. Thanks for watching.